Welcome to this A Passion for Life webinar, where we're focusing on the resources that are available for Life 26 and sort of how to access the resources and make use of the resources. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Nick McQuaker, Ministry Director of A Passion for Life, and I'll be presenting this webinar alongside my colleague Alex Hillman, who's in Norwich, giving us a wave, and Alex heads up ops and comms for A Passion for Life. It's great to have, we're expecting sort of 30 plus to join us for the join live for this webinar. We're also recording it, and hopefully that's helpful for you to share, perhaps with others in your church involved in planning the mission in your locality, and perhaps you can share also with other church leaders, and we'll be advertising the availability of the recording. We've got around about just over 280, I think approaching 290 churches across the country signed up so far. Many on this call, on this webinar, are already signed up, some are not. So just for those of you who may be still quite new to sort of Life 26 and what it's all about, Life 26 is essentially a nationwide mission campaign under a common banner, where centrally we're providing some resources to help local churches, but it's a mission campaign with local churches in the driving seat. So what happens on the ground in your locality is very much down to you in your church context. For those who maybe just thinking, oh, it's great to hear about this, but doesn't this start in March, and doesn't that mean it's all a bit late for us to sign up? I just want to say it's not too late to sign up. I think even so, yes, we're saying that the mission begins in March, but it's not confined to March. So if you want to run your local mission later in the year, if you think the summer or the autumn will be better, that's absolutely fine. Or you might just want to sprinkle Life 26 mission initiatives through the year where you are. And even if you do want to go for March, I think there are sort of straightforward ways to do the mission. It doesn't have to be mega complex, especially if you just start by thinking about what do you do every week and how could you make that part of your mission in March. Then it can be organized at relatively short notice. So Alex, if you can screen share for us. So almost everything that we will be talking about in this webinar is on the A Passion for Life website. I expect many of you have found your way there already. Alex will put the web address in the chat. But just in terms of churches that are participating, so this is the homepage. You can find out more about Life 26. Alex, if you hover over the Life 26 menu, then you'll see that the first item is about Life 26. You can go there to find out more about the mission. But let's just go to participating churches. So let's just start with that. So hopefully a map will come up. Okay, so yeah, do you want to allow the, yeah, there we go, thanks. So here's a map that shows the churches that are already signed up. So you can see the locations across the country, from sort of the north coast of Scotland, Hebrides, down indeed to the Channel Islands, to Jersey. You can pop in a location. So Alex, why don't we go to where you are? Can you type in Norwich in the location box? So you can zoom in or you can type a location. Okay, so it will take us to Norwich. And then if we click on the two, that's two churches. And why don't you go for City Gates, Alex? Click on City Gates, and then you'll see it brings up City Gates, a link to their website, a phone number, and an icon to contact the church by email, and also a little description of the church. That's important when it comes to the sign-up process that Alex will talk about in a moment. You'll need to, as you sign up, supply the description of the church, which will appear on this map and also on the findlifeinjesus.org website, which we will talk about towards the end of the webinar. showing you the map, just really in terms of it might be helpful to you to find out where your sort of churches in your area, which churches are signed up, and maybe look at the map and think which churches in my area are not signed up, and maybe I could encourage them to take a look at Life 26 and to join the mission. So let me hand over now to Alex, who's going to say a little bit more about the sign up process and just accessing your church account and using that church account.
Hi,
And then
yeah, we haven't met before. I'm Alex. As Nick said, I do comms and ops with a passion for life. Um, and yeah, we'll talk a little bit about how you join the mission. So here on our website, in that Life 26 kind of menu, you'll see this sub item called Join the Mission, which you can also find on the About page. But when we click on that, it will take us to the sign up page. You can jump straight to the registration, or you can go through some of the different ways that you can register, what we provide, and the sign up requirements from our side, or that we require, is that you can affirm the Evangelical Alliance basis of faith. But if you can't affirm that, we actually do have a limited access church subscription option. That will be helpful for you if you want to use things like our training resources, which we'll talk about later, but not be on the Find Life in Jesus website, which we'll also talk about later. So when you click here on this register now, you'll see the different options that you have. So you can register as an individual or as a church. I imagine for most of us, we'll be thinking about church registration. So I'll go on to that form here, which again has the information about signing up. If you're from a church that has low income, please get in touch with us. We can work out options to get you some discounted rates. Um, and the fee is £90 per year for sign up. That gives you access to all of our resources, including the training resources. There's no fees on top of that. But that helps us to be able to continually provide you the resources. The form itself is quite long, but it will contain everything that you need. So you do it once and then you don't have to do it again. You can set up an individual user. There's also space here for the description about your church that will be on our non-Christian facing website, Find Life in Jesus. And once you've set up an account, that gives you access to absolutely everything that we have got, as Nick said. And once you have set up an account, you can then log into it. I'm going to log into our kind of user account that we've got set up at the moment to show you what that looks like. Hopefully my internet will survive. Um, so the website doesn't change hugely once you log in, but you will find that this top corner now says account. And when you click view my account, you can manage your subscription and manage your account there. So you can see our kind of dummy account at the moment there set up. And if you need to edit any of those details, such as your email or your address, you can do that there. But also on this page, you can set up something called sub accounts, and these will be really helpful if you're sharing your account with your church family. This is particularly useful for the training videos. So here you can set up sub accounts here. These sub accounts will have access to things like the training videos, but won't be able to edit the account or see any of the information that you've set up with the church information on it. You can either set up to 20 sub accounts, so you could send those out to your small group leaders. Alternatively, you could create one sub account and then get in touch with us, and we can give that account permission to download the videos. And these you can find here, and there's different access levels. So when you're not signed in, you won't be able to see absolutely everything, but you can still see each of these sessions, but they will just have a preview. There is also a free session that is available for absolutely anyone to watch. That is BB8, and you can watch that to get a taster of what they're like. Once you're on the page, you can see that there is a preview down here, but there's also the main video. You can also access things like the leaders guides, the group handout, the summary, and each of the session videos. And to download those videos, you click here on download the 4K video. It doesn't download the video, but it does start playing it. And if you click on these three dots in the bottom corner, you can find the download option there. And if I leave that page, which is hard with the Zoom controls in the way, there you go. And we can go back to the main sessions. And here you can see that we have set up some recommended training modules. These include our kind of essential ones, slightly longer plans, but also a 1 to 3 year plan. There's a lot of these videos. There's 29 in these 4 different categories that you can jump to. But if you're thinking that's really overwhelming, there's too much to look at and scroll through and click on each individual video to find out what you want to use, we have a session resource guide. When you sign up for the mission, you get a free copy of this, thanks to our friends at the Good Book Company. Your sign up email will have a code in it that you can claim on their website. But you can also look at the PDF in theory here on our website, which will download and open. And you can go through each of the sessions. There's a short summary of the video, the aim, and will help you navigate your way through those. And you can also buy additional copies of those videos with the Good Book Company.
Sorry, Alex, you didn't mean buy copies of the videos. You meant the
No, you
booklet.
can't. Yeah, sorry, the booklet. And to talk a little bit more about the videos, we've asked our friend James Rollin to talk a little bit about how St. Alkmund's are using them in their church. And so I'll replace my spotlight with James.
Alex, could I just ask a question about the login for like small group leaders?
Yes, absolutely.
Can we just give them the main top right-hand corner account login password and they log in that way?
Yes, you absolutely can. Yeah. But they will have access to edit the account. So it's more if you would like them to have access, but you don't want them to be able to go into the account details. But if you're not fussed about that, you're more than welcome to share your login with anyone in your
That's
church.
great. Thanks very much.
Sorry about that. I hadn't seen your raised hands. And if you do have questions, please do put them in the chat throughout. We've got a little block for questions at the end, and we'd love to talk and share about some of those. But James, thank you for joining us today.
That's quite all right. Hello, everyone.
James, briefly, could you just introduce yourself and St. Alkmund's, and then I'll hand over to you to talk about how you're using these videos.
Yeah.
Sorry, Alex, do you want to just take down your screen share?
Yes, I will.
You can see me now. Yeah. So, hi, everyone. I'm James Rollin. I'm a licensed lay minister or lay reader, and I'm part of the staff and ministry team at my local church, which is St. Alkmund's Parish Church in a village called Duffield, which is about 5 or 6 miles due north of Derby, in the East Midlands. I've been working for the church since the end of 2019, I'd say, as part of the ministry team, and I've got a particular focus on discipleship on the one hand and evangelism on the other, which is one of the reasons I'm involved in the life mission and so on. So shall I just carry on and talk about what we've been doing? And
yes, please do. Thank you,
yeah,
James.
right, sure. So firstly, just to briefly explain in terms of what we've been doing, and indeed what we're currently doing. We've been watching a selection of the personal witness training videos that Alex has just been explaining. I've got a copy of the resource booklet there. And we've been watching those videos in our midweek home groups at church. We started doing that in September of last year, and we're continuing this month and on into next month. And for us, the videos out of the 29 that we've sort of particularly focused on are the sort of how-to videos, if I can call them that. So I won't list all of them, but just to give a couple of examples, we've been watching the ones like connecting with neighbours, connecting at work, inviting people to church, which I think was one that you did, Alex, from memory. Making the most of courses and events. So the sort of the practical how-to videos to hopefully get everybody in a sort of evangelism and mission mindset as we go into this year. So that's what we've been doing, and as I say, are continuing to do. And then secondly, very briefly, what we're planning to do as we go into this year, as I was just explaining this in church, in fact, last Sunday morning. We're going to have a couple of evangelistic or outreach services to invite guests to on Palm Sunday, 29th of March, and then also the following Easter Sunday at the beginning of April. And then those services will be alongside, hopefully, smaller scale and larger scale events, which might be in people's homes or at the church or somewhere else during the month of March. And as Nick was just saying at the beginning of this call, our plan is that we use our existing weekly ministries as part of Life 26 to make what we're already doing mission focused, as it were. And hopefully we'll have various events in and through our home groups. I've got a growth group, home group leaders meeting next week, in fact. And then also I'm hoping we'll have what I'm calling activity-based events. For example, since October 2024, I and some friends, we've been running a monthly album club at the church. Groupers get together, pick an album, listen to an album, enjoy a drink and a few snacks and so on. And so we're planning to have an album club mission event in March as part of the mission. I'm just waving here a very, very rough mock-up of a little flyer using the life artwork. We're going to call it the Album Club Anthology, just to give people a taste of what we've been doing. Hopefully people will invite friends and so on along to that. And of course, any events that we do run in growth groups or whatever will hopefully act as well as an invite to those guest services that I just mentioned. And of course, we'll make use of the excellent life mission publicity materials, to advertise the events. So that's a quick summary of what we've done and what we're planning to do, all being well.
Well, thank you so much for sharing, James. It's really encouraging to hear how they're being used in a kind of real context, having spent a lot of time with them behind the scenes. So very briefly, I'll just share my screen again.
So Alex, I'll do the screen share for you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Nick.
On the website.
So one more thing that might be helpful from me before I hand over to Nick is under that Life 26 submenu, you'll find the Mission Toolkit. And once your church is subscribed, you will have access to this. When you're not logged in, you won't be able to access this page. But here you can find everything that is mission related. And right at the top there, you can see a little button that says download the resources guide. I appreciate that we are going very quickly through a lot of the resources today because we're keen to not take up too much of your time, and we'd love to leave space for questions at the end. So anything that you think we breezed past very quickly is probably in that document in a lot of detail. It's quite a long one, but it is useful for things like sub accounts, using the videos, as you can see there, the survey resources. It's all on that page. And if we've missed anything that should be on that page, please let us know and we will add it. But Nick is going to go through now some of the resources in that mission toolkit for you.
Okay, thanks, Alex. We've done the spotlight. I'll do that now. Okay, great. So I was going to just start by talking about the guidance on sort of planning your mission. So again, everything mission related under Life 26, go to the mission toolkit. I'm on that page already. If you scroll down to the bottom of this page, you'll find the mission guidance. So I'll just click on that, open up that document, and you'll see that it's divided into a number of parts. So it begins with some key principles to think about as you plan your mission, some first steps, some more detail on planning, and a section on providing training and thinking about lasting impact. So you can download that, you can read through that. Hopefully that just helpful thoughts on how to go about planning your mission. Probably what's worth me doing is just scrolling down to the end of this document, and you'll see that the final pages are sort of a long list of ideas and how-tos. So the left-hand column is principles for reaching different groups of people, and then the right-hand column is various guidance documents on how to do various ministries. So there's a long list, so suppose we let's just pick one. Let's go for how to use your church website as an evangelistic tool. So if I click on that link, then it's going to take me back to the Passion for Life website, and it's going to open up that guidance on that particular topic. And all of these sort of guidance documents, which that mission planning document links to, they're all actually on our website under Find Resources. So the other way to access these, you go to Find Resources, click on How-Tos and Principles, and then you'll see that, again, the two categories, big categories, principles for reaching different groups of people, and how-tos. You can search by some terms. I could just say put in football, and it's going to come up with every article that we've got that references football in some form or other. Or you can filter by clicking on these sort of different links here. So different ways to navigate and search those documents, and there's a great wealth of resource that we've gathered together from the experience of church leaders and evangelists around the country. So all of those articles are freely available. You don't actually have to be a subscriber. Anyone can access those articles. But if I go back to the mission toolkit page, so we've got the mission guidance, and just above the mission guidance, we've got sample mission plans. So we've done, just to sort of spark ideas and help people thinking about mission in different contexts, we've done 3 sort of sample plans, one for a small church, one for a medium church, one for a large church. So if I just pick medium church 1, and that opens up, and that just sort of runs through a plan for a medium-sized church with the pre-mission preparation, prayer mobilization, the invitation advertising phases, and then sort of a sample plan for a week-long mission. So different sorts of mission plans for those 3 different sort of size churches. Doesn't mean for a medium church you need to do a week of mission. It could be a month, it could be a weekend, but it's just a sort of a sample plan of what the church might do. Okay, so let me go back to the website. So on the toolkit page, we've got the guidance, what the mission plans. Next one I want to just quickly go to is finding people to help with your mission. So it says speakers, interview guests and performers, go to the directory. The other way we could access that is under Life 306, just go down to find people for your mission. And if I click on that, it will take us to that directory. Then the directory comes in 3 parts. So speakers, those who would give evangelistic sermons and talks, testimonies, those who might give their testimony at a mission event or be interviewed at a mission event, and performers, those who use their sort of creative gifts in performance to help support evangelism. So let me, for instance, just go to speakers. That opens up, and then you can search for somebody by name. You can search on, filter on sort of, is this somebody who would happy to be speaking to men and women, or perhaps particularly focused on speaking to women. You can look for people in different regions, or those who would be comfortable addressing different age groups. And for evangelistic speakers, we've got 2 formats. We've got the evangelistic sermon, 3, evangelistic sermon, evangelistic talk, open air, evangelism. So say I just click on that, then it's going to bring up the list of those who've said they're available for open air evangelism. So let's click on Craig. So if we click on Craig up in Scotland, gives you a little bit of information about Craig, and then a form for you to make contact directly with him with some information about the event that you might like to invite Craig to speak at. Now there is a little bit of small print if I go back to the the master page for this. These are all people who've been recommended by those in our network, and they've signed up to the Evangelical Alliance Statement of Faith. But you would just need to do your own due diligence in terms of vetting people that you would want to invite at your event, and making sure that that you sort of follow the policy of your church or your denomination in inviting speakers. And we're happy to add people to the directory. So if you have recommendations for us, do send those in, people to be added. Okay, let's move on from finding speakers to the whole area of publicity and promoting your mission in your community. First of all, I'll just go to Live26 menu again and go to the campaign identity page. So this is the page where we try to explain more about the whole campaign identity. If you click on this about the brand, it just opens up a bit more information about the thinking behind the campaign identity. And if we go to this little section here, preview campaign assets, I'll click on that preview button, and it just opens up this document that we put together to introduce the campaign identity, give a bit more detail. So there's some sort of explanation around the identity for the campaign and the thinking behind it. And then it sort of introduces the different ways in which you can create your publicity. So first of all, by choosing what image you want to use from the image bank. So these are all everyday objects with something essential missing. There are a couple more images we've developed which will be added to this. And then there are different ways to create your publicity, which I'll explain in a moment, but you can use your either publicity generator or templates to build your own posters, flyers, social media, banners and more. Or you can download a Canva template to create your social media posts or PowerPoints or web banners, as well as printed publicity, flyers, posters and so on. So this is just maybe a document that you might share with others in your church to help them to understand about the campaign identity and the help available with publicity. But let's look at actually producing the publicity. So if I go now, again, under Live26, if I go down to the Create Publicity page, you'll find a video with some very annoying music that Alex pause the video, and then you can mute it to maintain your sanity. Okay, if you scroll down to the very bottom of this page, first of all, you'll find a button where you can download all of the campaign assets. So you can just get hold of the image files, the fonts, the logos, everything you would need if you wanted to sort of start from scratch. But if you don't want to start entirely from scratch, then you can, next sort of option up is to use our Canva links. So there are Canva templates for print publicity and for digital publicity. If I just click on, let me choose this first one, poster flyer template number 1. If I click on that, then it will take me to the Canva website. You would need to sign up for a free account if you don't have one. Then if I click on view the template, and I'll open it in the editor. Okay, the first page just gives a bit of information about what this template includes, and then it's got it's the same layout repeated over and over again, but each page has got a different campaign image. So you could just sort of scroll down, pick which image you want to work with. Say we're going to go with the paintbrush. You could then start to edit that page You could add information, you can move things around, do whatever you want with it. And then once you're happy that you've got your template finished, then I'm not going to give you a whole lesson on using Canva, but you would go to share, and then you would choose the download. If we're doing a printed flyer, we'd choose a PDF print. We probably want CMYK for printing, and then we choose the page that we actually want to use. So that, say, easiest thing, pick current page, click done, and then you can download, and Canva would download the print ready PDF for you. But you do need a little bit of know-how in how to use Canva to do it that way. And some of you may be able to do that, or have people in your church who can do that. But for those with sort of no knowledge of Canva and working with those sort of templates, we have created a publicity generator. So that's actually the first option you'd see here. Access the generator. Okay, and then you're asked, what would you like to produce? Let me just delete these first of all. Okay, so do you want to produce print ready publicity or a digital image? So let's go down the print route to start with. So first of all, you choose what size and format you want. Say we just want a sort of A4 poster. We could choose different banner formats as well. Then we have to choose which color format we want. For print, we probably want CMYK. We can decide whether we want a print bleed on it. So let's add a bleed of 3mm. And then we select the image. So let's go with the tennis racket. And you'll see that it's generating now a preview here of your publicity. You have the option here of including the campaign strapline, by which we mean here the find the life you're looking for. So if we select no, you'll see that some of the text has disappeared. But let's put that back, selecting yes. And then you have the option of changing the word life here in the find the life you're looking for. So let's just change that to purpose. And it will update the preview once I click out of that field. And again, we've got an option to include the campaign web address or not, the Find Life in Jesus. So if I select no, that disappears, select yes, it comes back again. And we've given a facility to modify that campaign web address as well, because one of the things that we can do for a locality is to create a redirect. So for instance, the churches where I am in Mid Sussex are working together. So they would like to have a web address, which is findlifeinjesus.org, Mid Sussex.
Nick, can we just ask a really quick question?
Yeah, sure.
Intervene there. As you're talking, we got a number of screens open. We're doing the same thing that you're doing to see if it works on our computer screen. Where it says insert the word for find the X you're looking for, the strapline.
Yeah.
You've just been doing that and it won't let us do it. It says the turnstile wasn't passed correctly. Is that something that's a problem at our end or
okay, that can we try and solve that for you after the webinar?
Okay, thank you. Just letting you know before we move on. That's
a little
thank
technical
you.
problem. It may be to do with it's this sort of making sure that you are a human being, not a robot.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the turnstile, I think.
But
yeah, I'm sure we can resolve any issues like that that may come up. Do contact us and we can resolve them with you, or get our IT person to do that. Okay, so we can, so what that means, if I put in findlifeinjesus.org/Mid Sussex, if you contact us, then we can set up a redirect. So that then redirects from that URL to a page of your choosing. So suppose one of the churches that you're working with in your area sets up a web page for the mission locally, we can redirect that URL. findlifeinjesus.org/your locality can be redirected to your local web page that you are hosting. So we're not creating the web page for you, but we can redirect to it. So if that didn't make any sense, then chat to me after the webinar and I can try and explain that again. Okay, so we've got that there. Then you can add details. So let's just suppose we're going to do an event called Can Sport Give Your Life Purpose, which is an evening with Graham Daniels. We can add some further details about the event. Say it's on Saturday, 21st of March, 7 to 9 p.m. We'll add it Christchurch, Haywards Heath, where I am. Then we can add, so you'll see that when I click again out of that field that I've just been editing, that text now appears here on the left-hand side at the bottom. And this other info, if I put some text in here, like the church web address, then that's going to appear on the right-hand side. So you can add some further details, further information there. Okay, and then so once I'm happy with my preview, I simply click Generate File, and now it's created the print-ready PDF. So I click on that. That's going to download on my browser, and there it is. There is the print-ready PDF. So let me go back to the website. Okay, so I produced my PDF for printed material. If I now go to digital image, we sort of essentially do the same thing. So suppose now I want an Instagram post to go with that advertising. The nice thing is it's kept all my details, so I don't have to type those in again. Suppose I'm happy with that layout, but maybe I'm not. Maybe there's too much text on there, I think. So what I can do is say, remove the campaign strap line, and let me decide, for this, I'll remove the campaign web address. So it's just cleaned it up. We've got less text going on up here. So I'm happy with that. So again, I click on Generate File and wait a few moments for that, hopefully, to produce. There we go. So now I've got an image file for that Instagram post, and it will store the whatever files you generate. You can it will keep them for 7 days, so you can come back to access those. And but if you've got end up with a lot of drafts, you can just delete them all, or you can delete individual files here. Okay, so that's the publicity generator. Okay, so I think I'm going to hand back over to Alex, who's going to say a little bit about our survey report and the survey toolkit. So I'll spotlight you, Alex, and I'll navigate on the website where you want me to go.
Thank you. Philip, I can see you've got your hand up very quickly.
Yeah, very quickly. Thank you. How editable are the banners? If we're not going to be printing our own and we're sending a digital image to a printer, peculiar shapes required, are they fully editable, or are they fixed?
So yeah, so there's always less flexibility with our publicity generator, but those are sort of standard banner sizes. If you want more flexibility, then the best thing to do is to start with the Canva templates. With a Canva once you've got the Canva template, then you can, if you need to change the size and the aspect ratio, you can do that. You can resize in Canva.
You can also download all of those kind of raw image files yourself. So if you have someone who can use something like Photoshop or Illustrator on a slightly more professional level, that might work really well for that as well.
Thank you very much.
So very quickly, we'll go through the survey kit. So Nick, could you go back to the mission toolkit for me there? Underneath this mission toolkit, you'll see a little subheading that says survey resources. And there are 2 files under here. The first is our national polling report. You don't need to be subscribed to see this. It's also linked on our homepage and anyone can access that. This was a report that we commissioned during the summer. You might have heard us talk about this in other contexts where we asked people around the country what they would say was missing from their lives. I would recommend you check that out. We won't go through the report itself now for time, But it was really interesting, and it's helped us as we've shaped some of the advertising materials, and it might be of help to you too. But obviously, the nation has one picture, but your local area might have a slightly different one. So under that survey file, you'll see our toolkit, and this you do need to be a subscriber church to access. And this will open up a very long document that will walk you through every step of setting up your own survey, including the questions that we have, but also you can use this software called Quallectrix, which is free, to do an online digital survey. And you might want to use that to send out to people in your area to find out what they would say is missing from their lives. That might help you as you pick that word in your campaign strapline to say, find the purpose you're missing or find the hope you're missing. And I'm sure there's some really interesting and different kind of features around the country, different demographics responding in different ways. And yeah, you can see on that document, there's kind of quite literally everything you could need to set up your own survey. But to talk a little bit more, so you're not just hearing us talk about it, we've asked Simon to share a little bit, not only about what his church have planned for Life 26, but also how they've been using the survey toolkit. So I'll ask Simon to unmute himself, and I'll spotlight you for a second. And Simon, very briefly, could you tell us who you are and where you are, and then how your church has been using the resources?
Yep. Okay, hi. I'm Simon Smallwood, and I'm a pastor of a church in Bodmin in Cornwall, just a small independent church. Yeah, so something like the survey kit to someone like me was mysterious and beyond my ability, but we located someone in the congregation who wouldn't be intimidated either by the idea of creating a survey or the Passion for Life brief. And it was a lady called AJ. She got very excited by it. I think she found the whole thing was very well explained, very simple, very straightforward. And actually her producing that survey, her enthusiasm was infectious for the rest of the congregation to get into something they wouldn't normally do. Anyway, she produced a customized survey and set things up. We have a small working mission group that then sort of edited her draft. And at the end of November, she sent out to all the members by WhatsApp some instructions and a link to the Qualtrics survey, and invited every member to share that with their fans, their friends and family, acquaintances, workmates, neighbours, and so on. And also to share more widely. So we have in Bodmin, we have a number of town-wide Facebook sites and things like that. And so we shared the link on those in November and December. And that's been fairly fruitful. I'm not quite sure what the number is, but certainly by the end of the first 2 weeks, we had about 70 or 80 replies with the survey done. We also produced a number of hard copies so that people could do the survey personally, because I think one of the things we struggle with is just making connections with our non-Christian friends and family and so on. And so we wanted people to do surveys personally with folks. That's not been so fruitful, but you know, it's growing a culture of evangelism. So it's just a long process. We've had the Christmas and New Year break, so we're going to have a last push for the rest of January, and we're going to repost the link to members, repost the link in Bodmin Town on our website. We're going to go out on the streets and door to door and do some personal surveys. And also one of the issues we have rurally is that lots of our members live outside of Bodmin, and we're very keen to start doing mission in the villages and communities where they live. So we're going to try and persuade one or two to have teams go out to where they live to do the surveys. So that all helps mission mindset. Early February, we're going to get the results, compare them to the national survey, and see if there are any local distinctives. We're going to choose the top 4 things that people believe are missing from their lives. And then we're going to brief, in February, brief our 4 speakers. We've got 4 speakers who are local church pastors in Cornwall, who know the scene here, to give them time to prepare. So we're going to give them a topic each. And for 4 Sundays in March, they're going to come and address those topics. And also at the same time, we're going to gear our publicity to those 4 topics. So we're intending to sort of drip feed publicity. And then for each week, there'll be a blast on the particular topic we're addressing that week up to Easter. So that's our surveys. That's what we're doing. It's pretty simple. Our plans for Life 26, we're taking a very long view on growing an ongoing culture of evangelism. So we're sort of using the mission in March just to help us get better at making connections and bringing people to church. That's pretty much our simple aim. So the training we've been doing up to now, with videos and Sunday sermons. So we've taken some of the topics from the videos and used them to be sermons. That's all been geared to making connections and to praying for those connections, and then inviting and bringing people to church on Sunday. And the mission is going to be just 4 Sundays in March. We're not going to put on any special events. It's going to be Sunday based. And we're not going to do anything particularly special with those Sundays. We want to make them accessible and welcoming to guests, but not much different to what we normally do, so that when they come in the following Sundays after the mission, we hope and pray, it won't be a huge gear change. What they experienced on those mission Sundays will be what they experience on the Sundays afterwards. For follow-up, we've been trialing a thing called the Making Disciples program, and that ensures that there's a gospel course going on throughout the year, but not the same one repeatedly, but a different course. So there's 5 courses we're using, so that either someone can plug into a rolling program for a year, an inquirer, so they can sort of continue to be grounded in the gospel, or a new inquirer can come in at any point in the year and stay on the program for a year. So we'll be plugging people into that. And then after the mission as well, we will continue training the church with the Passion for Life videos, but with more of an emphasis on personal evangelism. So we've said to the church, up to the mission, we're making connections and bringing people to hear the gospel. After the mission, we're making connections and telling people the gospel ourselves. And we're going to run that all the way up to the summer. There we are.
Thank you so much for sharing, Simon. It's really encouraging to hear. I'm going to hand back over to Nick for a minute. He's going to talk a bit about Find Life in Jesus.
Yeah, time is ticking by, so just be very quick on this. So I mentioned the findlifeinjesus.org website. So this is sort of the national public-facing website. And so this would be the homepage of the website, which it is now live. It's just gone live in the past few days. So it's asking that question. I feel like something's missing. There is a video, a story. You get Jack's story at the top there, who the Life 22 mission contributed to Jack's conversion. And if you read down, there is some text which is provoking people to think about finding what is missing in life through the Lord Jesus Christ, based on the text of a tract that Alex will talk about in a moment. And down at the bottom there are some more sort of testimony videos. But the main purpose of this website is to help people find a church, and so that find a church button keeps hovering around, and if someone clicks on that, they will go to a map page, which is a sort of church finder, and essentially it's the same as the participating churches page on the Passion for Life website. So people can pop in their postcode or their location, and Lord willing, they will find a church near them. So if you can explore that and how that works. So I will hand back over to Alex to say a little bit more about the evangelistic resources available to support the mission.
Cool. I'm going to share my PowerPoint with you. And here you can see, I spotlight myself as well, a preview of some tracts that have been produced for the mission. We are still waiting for a final print date on these, but I've been assured by our friends at 10 of those that they will be ready fairly soon for us to have. So these, as I've said, have been written by Graham Albans. The kind of little giveaway book that we're promoting for the mission is his one there, How 1 Week can give you everything you've ever wanted, which is brilliant. And that's published by 10 of those. And these two books kind of go in hand with that, but also, as you can see, mission themed. And there should be 2 covers, so you can pick which one you think is going to go better down where you are. And alongside those kind of short giveaway tracts, we also have, if my PowerPoint behaves, a booklet that has been written by Rico Tice and Carl Lafferton. And this is being published by the Good Book Company, but they're coming together to promote these on a mission page that I'll show you very shortly. This is slightly longer, it's about 13 pages, so a slightly more in-depth gospel explanation than the tract. So you might find that that is more appropriate for whatever you're using it for. Alongside the booklet and the tract, we also have Life magazine. This is an existing resource that 10 of those publish twice a year. And they have very kindly agreed to do a special kind of mission-themed edition. Inside this booklet and magazine, there's plenty of different types of articles. You can see some of the headlines there. I won't go through the edition itself for the sake of time, but there are testimonies, there are some general interest articles, but there is also an evangelistic kind of article in the middle, again, based on the Graham Albans tract. And that might be a really good giveaway. You can order, I think, 1,000 copies. I believe you can also deliver it to a postcode on their website, where you can buy 1,000 copies and they will put it through every door that has that postcode. And that will all be on, if I share the right part of my screen, which I think I have to do again. That will be on this page, which we have made in collaboration with 10 of those. So not everything is up there yet, but this page is live on their website, and you can find it through the Mission Toolkit under this category, Evangelistic Resources. And this page has those giveaway books, has Gospels that you can buy. It has some books for Christians that we recommend that you read. And it will have Life magazine, the tracts, and also that booklet by the Good Book Company they have agreed to put on there. So everything you need to buy for the mission will be on that page. And the final thing that I'll go through before we just spend a bit of time in having some questions, and if you do need to get away quickly on the dot at 2:30, that's absolutely fine, is merchandise. So this is going to be printed in Sussex per order, and we have made up some mission-themed merch. So these will be about £10 for a t-shirt, £20 for a hoodie.
Alex, don't give the prices yet. We haven't agreed those.
Depending on what the final prices are, but they won't be very expensive. But you might want to order these to either where just in your own life, but also if you have a team that will be serving out in public or in your workplace, you might want to have something that again asks that question, ever feel like something's missing, just designed to get a bit of attention and kind of make people think, and you can point back to find life in Jesus. And we're, as Nick said, still finalizing some of the details on this. We don't have dates yet, but we're hoping that'll be really soon so that you can get sorted for the mission. And that might be something that you're interested in. Stop sharing my screen and spotlight Nick again.
Yeah, and apart from the sort of clothing and those fabric items, we're also, I don't know, did you mention, Alex, that we're looking at sort of mugs and coasters and things that might be branded for the mission as well. Yeah. Great, thank you. Alex, maybe in the chat you could just put through that 10 of those web page address.
Yeah.
That would be really useful for people. Great. So we, as Alex said, if you need to go on the dot at sort of 2:30, then feel free. Or if you need to leave now, do feel free to leave. But we'll just spend a few minutes on questions. If you've got questions, do put them in the chat. But there were one or two questions which were submitted in advance. So we had a question around sort of the fees that we're charging and any copyright issues on using the resources in public settings and reusing the resources. So basically, the quick answer is if you sign up as a subscriber church and pay the £90, then you have a year of access to the resources. There are no copyright issues in using the resources in a public setting. Feel free to use them as you want to, and sort of repeat use is absolutely fine. And in theory, you could just sort of download absolutely everything while you've got a valid subscription and never pay a cent more. But what we hope you will do is that you will maintain your church subscription, which will just help us fund the production of future resources and sustain the ministry, particularly as we look ahead, Lord willing, to another nationwide mission in 2030. And perhaps do the honourable thing that if you're continuing to use our resources, that you sort of continue to maintain the subscription, which will give access to existing resources and new ones that we produce. Question about evangelizing Muslims, which I guess that would be another sort of webinar in itself. But what I can do is just signpost you to resources on the website. So if you go to the resources section and those how-to and principles guides, if you were to put in Muslim as a search term, it would bring up a number of articles that reference evangelizing Muslims. And one of our training videos is on helping Muslim friends meet Jesus, that has been done by James Tredgett at LCM. So there's a useful training video on that topic as well. A couple of questions I think we've probably answered. The third question was any advice for a super small church with a congregation of about 12 people? Well, I think especially in a small church setting, I guess the key thing is what's been mentioned before, which is actually rather than thinking about what's a whole load of extra events that we could put on for the mission, how can we simply use things that we do every week? Can we make our Sunday services the focus in terms of inviting people to church, but perhaps themed with the mission, addressing some of those topics, maybe using the survey toolkit in your local community to identify topics which would resonate with people in your locality. And can you, if you've got any midweek events, can you use those to signpost the Sundays? So I think there are some fairly simple ways that of doing the mission that don't require a lot of resource. And I would encourage to put the effort into the advertising and inviting, rather than putting a sort of huge amount of effort into running lots of extra events. And then sort of running out of the energy to invite people to them or advertise them. But yeah, if anyone wants to chat further with me about running the mission in a particular context, then I'm certainly happy to sort of take a call on that. Alex, any further questions in the chat?
Not at the moment, but if anyone has a question that they'd love to ask.
Ask it live. Put up a physical hand or a digital hand. James.
Yeah, just any rough sort of ideas of timescales for those the tracts and the booklets that you just mentioned, roughly when they might come online?
Yeah. The booklet by Rico Tice has actually been printed. So
Right.
I really think that should be available very soon. I've got a call with somebody at Good Book Company this afternoon about that.
Right.
The Life magazine from 10 of those, we don't actually know the timing, do we, Alex?
Sometime in February.
So, okay, sometime in February. And the tract by Graham Albans is design work is almost finished. It's just final details. I can't promise the timescale, but hopefully in sort of 2 or 3 weeks that will be printed and available. But
Thank you.
it may take longer.
Right.
Thomas Brown.
One question I had was in terms of kind of, I guess, building momentum in prayer. Whether you guys plan to publish a schedule of when different churches are doing their weeks. I think for our guys, like in terms rather than just talking about it from the front, we'd love to be able to say this week in church we're praying for these 3 places
Yeah.
because we know this week they're doing their week. So if that was possible, I mean, I know that's a collating thing, but if that was possible to
Yeah.
publish,
Thank you. Great
we
idea.
can then distribute it to our prayers.
Yeah, great idea. We can look at that. Maybe if churches send in details of what they're doing, we can do a sort of weekly email of what's happening that week that could be prayed for. Just on the subject of prayer, we are doing sort of also national prayer meetings every couple of weeks. So the next one is next Thursday. So they are Thursday lunchtimes, 1 to 1:45, second and fourth Thursday of the month. So the next one, as I say, is next week. If you can't join the prayer meeting live, but you sort of join our prayer network, then you'll get the prayer points sent to you that were prayed for at the prayer meeting. Any other questions? Not seeing any more hands raised. Okay, great. Okay, well, it's been really good to have you with us on the webinar. If questions do occur to you, then do send those in. Contact Alex at apassionforlife.org.uk, and we will do our best to answer your questions. And if you have any technical problems accessing things on the website and so forth, then don't hesitate to contact us. God bless you in all you're doing for him and in your mission when that time comes. Thank you all.
Thank you, Nick.